Hello everybody, video about 222. It's a hot topic right now in the Overwatch world. Sorry for the delay on videos, I'm currently in the process of moving, so I'm a little bit behind schedule, should be catching up to date real soon. So, let's talk about 222. This is unfortunately necessary for Overwatch to continue as a healthy game. It was supposed to be a flexible game. Originally, even in Season 1, you could select 6 of the same heroes in a game because the devs didn't want to have any sort of limitations. They wanted you to go back to the spawn room, change to whatever hero needed to be played to enable the win for the game. But unfortunately, they didn't see people would be maining heroes, and that had caused a problem of imbalance in the game and team comps where you wouldn't have a support or a tank player. So 222, I'm sure you've heard of it, but if you haven't, it basically allows you to lock into a specific role, either tank, DPS, or support. So you will queue for that role, guaranteeing you to play that role when you get into a game. So what this means is that you have a basic composition of people who want to play tank, who want to play support, and want to play DPS versus the previous way comp was, where anybody could pick anything, and most of the time you wouldn't have any sort of basic composition, or people who were flexible would flex onto a role that they're not too confident at playing at a specific level. So for example, if somebody was wanting to play DPS, but then they got forced onto tank or main tank, and they weren't very good at main tank, the game becomes imbalanced. If the other team have people who can play support and play tank and have DPS at that level, it becomes in the favor of the enemy team purely based on that. So what this allows is people of a very similar rating to play the roles, the tank, support, and DPS together, and creating a better kind of atmosphere. Now, the result of 222 has been better communication in the games that I've played. So I've played on the PTR when it was in first launched and came out, and then now it's on live in beta, and I've played the PTR on NA, and that was really, really good. People were more likely to communicate, use combos, and really kind of the games were better. You could feel that the games had a bit more substance. And then I actually had the queue on EU. The downside of 222 role lock is the queue times depending on which role you select. So I wanted to play some DPS. It took 20-minute queue on NA, but it was purely because of the time I was queuing. It was too early in the morning. I wasn't able to get a game. But on EU, I was able to get games within 3 to 4 minutes. So that was really nice. And most of you who follow my content know that I don't really play EU purely because the communication was so bad and the flaming was really bad. This is all personal experience. But I actually had some pretty good games. People were on microphones, they were communicating, they were talking to each other, they were working together, and it was such a breath of fresh air to hear and to see. And I had fun. I was able to play at like 35 ping for the first time in forever and have great games in competitive environment, and it was really good. So what has happened is the beginning stress when you go into a game, if you want to play DPS and you're forced onto another role, has gone. And there is no longer people saying, oh, if I was DPS, the game would have turned out differently, because, hey, that person can now queue DPS and just play DPS. And what I've found is really nice is I'm quite fortunate as a content creator to do this full-time and play Overwatch for many hours at a time, where people who have limited time, they might play only 1 or 2 hours in the day, who want to play DPS or they want to play support or whatever they want to play, were being forced onto different roles, and their time limit might have been up, but now they can guarantee themselves the roles they want to play. And I think that's really nice. It means that people are going to be happier, and so far the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive from the community. This is something which I made a video or I made an image ages ago of about role lock, and I said, hey guys, the game would be better if we had at least people on your team who wanted to play tank and wanted to play support, and were good at them. And people were roasting me like, oh, Valkia, role lock, is stupid. And so I'm like, well, would you prefer to play with 6 DPS with no support and no tanks? So like, well, no, not really. I'm like, well, then this is at least some baseline solution to begin with, which could make the games more enjoyable for people to play. And it has. It's at the moment, from what I've played, and from what people on my stream have told me, they have had a better experience playing with 222 right now. Creative compositions are gone, unfortunately. That is the downside. So no more goats, no more 4 DPS, 1 healer, 1 tank. That kind of flexibility has gone because people can't be trusted. That's basically it. People are not flexible enough. People can't be trusted. And now, I think it was worse maybe at lower ranks. You still get it up in, Masters, Grandmaster, but at lower ranks you just find people lock in DPS. Everybody thinks they're God's gift at Overwatch, and then it all goes to shit, basically. So now, I think at lower ratings, people are going to have better and more fun games. If you're watching the video, if you're at a lower rating, you playing 222, please, I want to hear all of your experience. So comments below, put what your thoughts are. If you think positives or negatives, put it in there. I know some people are going to think it's, they don't like it. They don't like being, not being flexible, being able to go on DPS where they need to, or support or tank. I can completely understand that it's something that's going to make Overwatch have a different feel overall. But I'm really interested to find out your point of view and what you think is the positives and what you found are the negatives. You're going to find that there are some DPS players which will be, let's say, trash. But at the same time, you can say, well, I could have queued for DPS. So there's always going to be reasoning for it now. Let me know. I've really enjoyed it so far. I'm going to have another video talking about how Pharah fits into back to 222. She was very good versus Zarya Ryan, but I'm kind of not too happy with Pharah in the current situation. Let's just say McCree has more shield break damage than Pharah does with his right click. So that's for another video. Thank you for chilling. Once again, sorry for the lack of videos. Once I'm moved, house tour, it's going to be amazing. Make sure to tune into the streams as well. Done my placements, but we're going to continue doing some more, which is twitch.tv/Valkia. Link is in the description. Comment away, thumbs up. Thank you for hanging, and I'll see you on the next video.